3 NASCAR championship races on this championship weekend at the Phoenix Raceway is upon us. And tonight we got the Craftsman Truck Series taking shape at this 1 mile flat oval out in Phoenix, Arizona. And yeah, again, a champion will be crowned. 4 drivers going for 1 title in each of these 4 races, obviously via the current playoff format that we have seen since 2017 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and since 2014 in the NASCAR Cup Series side of things. So we are definitely familiar with this. Obviously, whoever finishes best of these 4 drivers will be tonight's and this season's Craftsman Truck Series champion, excuse me. And those 4 drivers going for the title will be Ty Majeski, Corey Heim, Christian Eckes, and Grant Enfinger, all of which qualified in the top 5 positions. All showed very good speed in practice as well earlier this afternoon. So it should be a pretty good fight between these 4. I expect all of them to be up towards the front of the field for a large majority of this race. 150 laps, 150 miles are scheduled distance for tonight's race. Very short one at that. One of the shorter truck races of the season. And as well, coming into this race here today, our stage is obviously going to be very short as well. 45 laps in Stage 1, Stage 2, and 60 laps in Stage 3. In that final stage, they will not have to pit for fuel purposes. So we may only see our pit stops tonight taking place during the stage breaks, or obviously if late cautions come out in Stage 1, Stage 2 could lead to pit stops there. But we will not be seeing any green flag pit stops. So it's going to be a sprint race for a lot of these teams. And that's also very crucial as to why qualifying was very important earlier. Obviously, a lot of rubber laid down on the racetrack today. Full 50-minute practice sessions for Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series action. And obviously, the trucks were the only series that qualified earlier as well. So with the track being rubbered up, this is the first time we are going to see vehicles on the track under the lights here this weekend. And we'll get to see what lanes will be working the best throughout the course of this race as well. For pre-race ceremonies, I'll let you guys listen into the FS1 broadcast as we get into the national anthem now.
National anthem. Please welcome United States Army veteran, retired firefighter, and award-winning gospel recording artist, James Rambo Smith.
Rambo.
Can you see by the dawn's early light was so bright? The twilight's last gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the verse again streaming. The buzz stay the night, but that light was still there. Oh, faith, the star spangled banner. Oh, man. The way.
All right, so before we get into the starting lineup, I did want to kind of go over some of the key statistics that these Championship 4 drivers have coming into the season. Obviously, some of those stats will be scrolling across the bottom of the screen throughout the course of tonight's race, but just to kind of go over this as a whole before this race begins as well. Currently on the laps led side of things, Christian Eckes leads with 1,050 laps led. He's the only Truck Series regular to lead more than 1,000 laps this season. He also has the most stage wins this year with 11, but the most race wins goes to Corey Heim. Heim with 6 wins to Eckes' 4, 2 apiece for Majeski and Enfinger. Most top 10s on the season also for Christian Eckes. He is the regular season champion, most top 5. So he leads pretty much in every statistical category but the wins column, and that's where Corey Heim takes place right there. But also with him being the top guy in those columns, Corey Heim is second in laps led, second in stage wins, second in top 5s and top 10s this season. He has 1 more DNF than Eckes, which also Eckes tops the series in, or one of the tops in the series, and obviously of the original 10 playoff drivers, tied for the best with only the one DNF as well. Only 2 races all season or one race I should say, because 21 of 22 races so far that Christian Eckes has not finished in the top 10. So he's definitely been the most consistent of the bunch. Corey Heim was fastest in practice earlier today, and he was also fastest in the 5, 10, and 15 lap categories on average speed in practice as well. He was so close to winning this race last season, got into a late kerfuffle, if you will, with, at the time, Carson Hocevar, who was also in the championship 4 a season ago. Corey Heim did announce earlier in the week he will be returning to Tricon Garage next season full-time. It was speculated that that would be the case, so this isn't his final go at the Truck Series Championship, but in what has been his more dominant season of the 2 so far on the Truck Series level, I do expect him to win the championship here today. He's my personal favorite. I do think Christian Eckes can be in a huge title fight tonight as well. Showed a lot of speed on some of the flatter tracks this season with, of course, a sweep at Martinsville. But if you remember last week, got in a little bit of a run-in with Taylor Gray. Gray was not happy about the outcome of that race, passing Christian Eckes cleanly, and then only to get ran through in the very next corner and costing him a shot at the championship 4. Will Gray maybe retaliate this weekend? Will he keep Christian Eckes out of victory lane or out of the championship winning circle? That could obviously be something stacked against Eckes this weekend as well. As I mentioned already, a lot of speed for Majeski and Enfinger this week. Also, both qualifying in the top 5 and both in the top 6 in practice overall. Ty Majeski will be starting on the pole. He, too, has also been great at flat tracks this season with a win at Milwaukee and also a win at IRP this season. As far as, or not Milwaukee, excuse me, he does have a win at IRP in Richmond, but still, some like to say that Richmond, very similar track to that of Phoenix. More tire wear, but the actual racetrack layout very similar, and I think that could bode well for Majeski. We have seen him in the Championship 4 at Phoenix in the past and hasn't looked quite as good at this track for some reason compared to some of those other flatter tracks. I don't know if maybe that's because there's more grip overall here, so don't have to manage your tires quite as well, although there will still be a little bit of that tire management as we get into the going. There's no PJ1 or traction compound on the outside lane of the racetrack in turns 3 and 4, old 3 and 4, 1 and 2 for that matter. We have seen the traction compound PJ1 on the outside lane of this racetrack in years past, but we are not seeing it this year. Obviously, the Cup and Xfinity Series were racing at Phoenix earlier this year with the same thing happening with no PJ1, no traction compound, but the Truck Series, this is their only event at Phoenix throughout the course of the season. So if we just go off of recent years here at the track, the lack of experience, I would say, for the rest of the field, probably a detriment to seeing an upset winner. I do think whoever ends up winning this race will be the champion, considering the speed that we see out of these Championship 4 drivers. I don't think it's going to be like last year's Championship 4 race where we saw pretty much the top few positions in the running order most of the day being held by drivers that weren't in the Championship 4. I do think that the winner is going to definitely come from them. Thomas Roth and Bubba Davis, you guys are the first in the chat below. Appreciate you tuning in. We have about 80 people concurrently watching this stream already. Everybody knows it's championship race weekend, and I'm definitely excited to get this underway. What I'm not excited for is the fact that this is the last weekend of the NASCAR season. We're going to have 3 months of no racing after this week, but let's go out with a bang, and hopefully we see some good races. Hopefully this year's Truck Series race in particular is going to be better than last year's. What was it, like four overtimes in that race? A lot of caution. So we'll go through the full field starting lineup then for tonight's race. We will have a full field of 35 trucks. And Ty Majeski, as I mentioned already, will be starting on the pole. Corey Heim starting second after being fastest overall in practice earlier today. Stuart Friesen, highest qualifying non-playoff driver. He will be starting in third. Had a top 5 last week at Martinsville. Christian Eckes outside of that row and obviously the winner a week ago. Grant Enfinger, who also has 2 wins as of late, winning the 2 races before last week's race at Martinsville, at Homestead, and Talladega to put his way into the Championship 4. He'll be starting inside of row 3. Dean Thompson to his outside. Nick Sanchez and Caden Honeycutt in row number 4. Honeycutt still getting some extra seat time before, of course, jumping to that 45 truck full-time next season. Nick Sanchez trying to go out with a bang before going full-time Xfinity Series racing next year. He has 2 wins on the Truck Series season to this point. Connor Mosak, Chase Purdy, both the Spire Motorsport drivers starting in row 5. Lane Riggs still trying to get his 3rd win before the season is up in his rookie campaign. He starts inside of row 6. Tyler Ankrum to the outside of that row Not as many strong runs for Ankrum through the playoff races compared to what he had early in the season, but we'll see if he's still got any sort of speed in there to maybe help his teammate Kushnekis get this championship here today as well. In row 7 will be Connor Jones, Taylor Gray. Jones was suspended last week at Martinsville following an on-track incident back at Homestead Miami Speedway the weekend before, so he's back in the 66. And Taylor Gray, who was, of course, eliminated from the Championship 4 after last weekend coming oh so close to win at Martinsville. We'll see, as I mentioned already, if he gets maybe a little bit of payback on Kushnekis. He's definitely not going to catch him any breaks or give him any breaks if they do see each other throughout the course of the race. Tanner Gray, Daniel Dye will line up in row number 8, and row number 9 will be William Sawalich and Bailey Curry. Sawalich also will be driving Xfinity Series full-time next season, but we'll see what he can do in his final truck start of 2024. Raja Caruth and Ben Rhodes will line up in row number 5. Rhodes, of course, the defending series champion. We'll see if he can have a strong run. Eliminated in the round of 10 of the playoffs this year. Raja Caruth, of course, eliminated last week at Martinsville in the round of 8. Jack Wood, Matt Crafton in row 3. Or, I don't know why I said row 3. Row number 11. Matt Crafton, of course, 3-time series champion. Still looking for his first win since 2020. Stephen Parsons, Brett Moffitt is going to be in row 12. Moffitt making his second consecutive start. Of course, former truck champion himself. Dawson Sutton will be running full-time in the 25 truck next season, so getting some extra seat time again. Before this year's up, he's ran that 25 truck for several races already this season. And Andres Perez de Lara will line up in row 13. ARCA full-time driver will be running in the 04 here tonight. Jake Garcia, Matt Mills in row 14. Row 15 for Timmy Hill, Spencer Boyd. Frankie Muniz will be in the 27 truck tonight inside of row 16 with Keith McGee. To his outside, Nathan Berg, Thad Moffitt in row 17. And rounding out the field in row 18 will be Lawless Allen. And again, that is your full 35 truck field for tonight's Craftsman Truck Series Championship race at Phoenix. Already mentioned the state splits tonight, 45, 45, and 60 to make up the full 150 laps in today's race. Our fuel window right around the length of what the final stage will be. They'll definitely be able to make it on fuel in the final stage, so only pit stops we're going to see today will be under caution. Obviously, unless somebody maybe cuts a tire or has a mechanical issue under green, but scheduled pit stops for this truck race here this weekend will definitely be taking place under caution flag conditions only. Earl Arnold Jr. and Tim Irvin also welcome into the stream as well. Better not be, you know what, Joe? Yeah, well, hopefully. Any race manipulations either. I don't think we'll see race manipulations come into play this weekend, especially after last week's ordeal. We haven't seen that in the championship 4 races, at least. It seems like we only see that maybe in cutoff races when point situations are on the line. It's tougher to come by in the championship 4 because usually those 4 are running towards the front of the field as it is anyway. And I definitely think that that's going to be the case in this truck race here tonight at the very least. The one thing I can say is hopefully we have a much cleaner race for the truck series side of things compared to what we did last year. It was definitely a long one last season. Also nice that we have an earlier start time this year than we have the last couple of seasons. 9 p.m. Eastern and 10 p.m. Eastern each of the last 2 seasons at Phoenix for this truck finale tonight. A lot better, 8 p.m. Eastern, at least for us, all of us on the East Coast side of things. So we won't be staying up quite as late as we have the last couple of years. Alrighty. Again, the race is on Fox Sports 1 tonight. If you're wondering visually where you can watch it, that would be where. And obviously the next TV contract starting next season, 2025 through 2031, Truck Series will remain on Fox and Fox Sports 1 for the entirety of their schedule. Extra race also next year, I believe 24 races, if I'm not mistaken, next season instead of 23 like we've had the last several years. Frank Powers, Rima, thanks for tuning in. When are they going to start? Any minute now. Trucks, I should say, excuse me, are already on the racetrack. So currently on our parade laps. Within the next couple of minutes, they will be going green. Live full flag-to-flag coverage, obviously, for tonight's race. We'll have full flag-to-flag coverage for Xfinity and Cup action this weekend as well. And we'll still be going live tomorrow evening for Cup Series qualifying, which will begin at 5 p.m. Eastern before the Xfinity Series race. Doubleheader, just like we had today. We already had a live commentary stream for Cup practice. Full 50-minute session. Ryan Blaney was the quickest in practice overall earlier today. Didn't get a chance to look at those lap averages yet, but we'll diagnose that in qualifying stream tomorrow. But lap average speeds, again, from the Truck Series practice session earlier today. For those of you that were not able to watch on FS1, Corey Heim had the fastest 5, 10, 15 lap averages in practice. The only driver who made a 20-plus lap run in the practice session as well was Nathan Bird in the O2 truck. So all the lap averages, at least, that we had to look at, Corey Heim was the best. 8 to 9 degrees of banking. It turns 1 and 2 here at Phoenix. 10 to 11 and 3 and 4. Front stretch 8 to 9 with the dog leg. Obviously not counting the apron, which is very flat. 0 degrees of banking there. And the pit window is 80 to 85 laps approximately. And again, that is longer than all the stages in tonight's race. Should be getting the 1 to go signal this time by. Maybe next time by. I think they have to check pit road speed this time, and then they'll go green the following time. 11 cautions tonight. Gosh, I hope not. That's a lot for a 150-mile race. I will say there is more experience in the Truck Series field this year than what we had seen last year and really in recent years in general. I mean, you look at a lot of the drivers that did qualify for the original 10-driver playoff field, for instance, in the Craftsman Truck Series, and all those drivers were running last year. No rookies ended up qualifying, for instance, in this series, though we have seen a rookie in Lane Riggs win a couple of those playoff races as a non-playoff driver. Only rookies in the field in general tonight, Thad Moffitt, Connor Jones, and Lane Riggs are the three. Some other drivers out there that obviously have been running part-time this season that will have the rookie stripes on the trucks as well, like William Sawalich and Andres Perez de Lara in the field tonight also. Gonna have some rookie stripes, Frankie Muniz towards the back of the pack. Greatly appreciate everybody watching the stream already. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't yet. Our goal is to get to 100 likes on this Truck Series Championship stream. Already at 36, and you can vote for who you think is going to win tonight's championship in our current chat poll. We'll leave that open until the end of Stage 2. Currently, 63 votes have been casted thus far. 33% of those votes going to Christian Eckes. 25% saying Corey Heim, Ty Majeski 24%, and Grant Enfinger 17%. Very tight. Again, you have until the end of Stage 2 to vote for that. We usually get asked the question of who you think is going to win the race, but because it's championship race weekend, I only have 4 voting options. I figured I'd just throw the championship 4 in there for all of this weekend's events. Muniz going full-time racing 33 next season. Yes, he is. Yeah, that was announced a couple weeks ago. He will be running in that truck full-time. Yeah, I'm taking Corey Heim for the title tonight. Looking for redemption from last season. Of the 4 drivers in the Championship 4 last year, he was the one that was out in front for the large majority of the championship portion of the race. Not as much in Stage 3 for the actual race win. At the time, actually, when he and Hocevar were battling for the championship, they were not battling for the win in the race at that point in time. And all 4 of the trucks in the Championship 4 had some sort of damage in that race, with only 2 of them finishing on the lead lap. That being Ben Rhodes and Grant Enfinger. Pace truck is already on pit road, and the field is doubled up, heading to the restart zone. Ty Majeski elected the outside lane for this initial start as the pole sitter. Green flag is in the air, and our first of 3 NASCAR preliminary series events are underway. Stumbled on that one a little bit, but we are off and running. 3 and nearly 4 wide down into turn 1. We'll be seeing that all weekend with the extra pavement down to the dog leg on the inside of the racetrack. Couldn't even tell you exactly how many lanes wide it is, but it is wide. And we might be seeing more than 4 wide before this thing's all said and done. I'm a little slip up off turn 4. Seemed to be a bit loose. Eckes has a run on him for second. They're side by side, both cutting the dog leg on lap 2. Opening lap led by Ty Majeski, already 6 to 7 truck lengths out ahead of the race leaders. They run in line behind him. Heim is able to pull clear through the center of turns 1 and 2. Stays in front of the 19 of Eckes. And now he knows the tail line from second all the way back through about 4th or 5th. Next battle in the top 10 would be Mosak and Thompson, who are running side by side for 6th on lap 3. 2 laps now led for Majeski, already a 1-second lead over Corey Heim, and Christian Eckes 1.2 seconds back. Bigger gap back to 4th place, about a half a second further behind is Nick Sanchez in 4th. Sanchez 1.9 seconds off the lead, 2.2 seconds back already is Stuart Friesen in 5th. So that's how the top 5 cycles out in these opening laps. Browning 20 forever. Mark DeMars also thanks for tuning in. Sutton Muniz Honeycutt, Rookie of the Year next year. Yeah, I am a little curious to see. I wonder if there's going to be any other rookies that may be announced through the offseason, just because I feel like from the funding side of things, you usually see some off-season moves more in the Truck Series than what you would see in the Xfinity Series and Cup Series level. I don't think it'll be in, maybe race-winning equipment by any means, but as far as maybe some other rookies that might run the full schedule, for instance. Like Jake Garcia last season, he missed the season opener at Daytona, but he ended up running the rest of the season after the fact as a rookie. Only missing that one race, and that's because he wasn't old enough to run at Daytona that week. He was still 17. Once he turned 18 after week 1, he was able to run the rest of the season. And obviously, all of this year, I believe, Garcia has ran as well. Grant Enfinger back in the 8th place position, slipped up on the initial start. Well, the top 3 still being had by the Championship 4 drivers, and Majeski's lead is now 1.6 seconds over Heim on lap 7. Enfinger trying to hold off Mosak and Honeycutt in 8th and 9th behind him. Honeycutt pressuring Mosak, maybe more than Mosak pressure Enfinger for that spot the last lap. Connor Jones already up to 10th. A couple spots gained from the initial start, getting by Carruth and Riggs. Chase Purdy slipping back a little bit in the running order as well. He qualified top 10. He's now 13th. Cambrian Explosion Context, thanks for tuning in. Got a lot of Heim picks, it looks like, in the chat. Make it Andres Perez for the 2 next year. Yeah, and I think that's a large part of why he's probably running tonight's race as well. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is his first race this season. I don't remember seeing him in the starting lineup for any other races that we had on the Truck Series level so far this year. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Kenneth Clark, thanks for tuning in. I'm doing great tonight. Excited to get this underway. They are on a full screen commercial break on FS1 currently. So again, we'll quickly go through the top 10 on lap 8 here. Ty Majeski with a 1.6 second lead still over Corey Heim. And Christian Eckes already 3.3 seconds off the lead in 3rd. 5.1 seconds back, Nick Sanchez in 4th. Stuart Friesen already 6.8 seconds off the lead in 5th. Dean Thompson 7.1 seconds back at 6th. Grant Enfinger still at 7.4 seconds off the lead. Connor Mosak 8 seconds back in 8th. 9th is Caden Honeycutt, 8.3 seconds off the lead. And Connor Jones, as I mentioned already, also in 10th, 8.6 seconds back. So Ty Majeski already putting a little bit of a gap over the rest of the field here. Maybe not as much over Corey Heim compared to the rest of the field, but even 2 seconds now over Heim. Will this hurt him in the long run side of things? Is it more of a short run burst? We'll have to wait and see. Heim maybe looked a little better in the long run side of things in practice, but practice also took place during the daytime earlier than what we are seeing here in the night. Maybe more fall off in practice earlier today, especially considering it would have been a green racetrack when the Truck Series took their session earlier this afternoon as well, compared to what we have with more rubber laid down from Xfinity full practice, Cup Series full practice after all the truck action earlier in the day. Not to mention the track temps dropping considerably, considering now that we're under full darkness in the nighttime sky compared to during the daytime. Ran Spire at Gateway. Oh man, I really don't remember that off the top of my head. Top 10. Horse in better equipment than what he's in tonight, so I don't expect any of that out of him here today in particular. Already, yeah, commercial break in less than 10 laps. Good old Fox. Whoever wins the race tonight, not any of the championship 4, didn't count or matter. Well, I mean, it'll matter for the record books at least. I will remember. Statistically speaking, you know, maybe Fox won't remember, but we'll all collectively remember on this stream. Any of the viewers watching, we'll make sure we highlight it. We did with Ross Chastain. We gave him his flowers for winning the race last season, for instance, in the Cup Series. And that's even, you know, my favorite driver, Ryan Blaney, winning the championship. Obviously, I call these races down the middle, obviously, with these realistic broadcasts, too. And Finger was passed by, or actually made a pass for position up to 6th during the commercial break, out by Dean Thompson. Thompson now sits in 7th. And Finger still trying to get some of these spots back that he lost on the initial start of this one. Qualified in 5th. Fell to 7th initially. Now he battles Stuart Friesen to try to get back in the top 5. One of Friesen's better runs of the year came last weekend at Martinsville. Part of one of those drivers that pitted for the strategy late of taking the fresh tires, trying to charge through the field. Didn't get up there quite as quickly as, say, a Taylor Gray or a Ben Rhodes, but had a solid finish. And I'd say probably has had more solid finishes on a consistent basis through the playoffs than what we saw out of the regular season from him. Obviously, one of the many reasons that he ended up missing the playoffs entirely this year. 2 years in a row, in fact, after qualifying for the Championship 4 back in 2022. Hopefully we see Friesen back in victory lane maybe next season if he can't get it done here tonight. Ty Majeski working his way through lap traffic right now. Looks like 31 trucks on the lead lap. Nathan Bird, Frankie Muniz, Lawless Allen, and Keith McGee are all 1 lap down. Spencer Boyd also that last lap just got passed. And now Thad Moffitt pointing down to the inside to give Majeski the right of way to go there. And he will also fall off the lead lap. Down to 29 trucks quickly now on the lead lap. So getting through some of the back portion of the field. Some of the ThorSport trucks really struggling here today. Ben Rhodes, Matt Crafton, 19th, 20th. Almost 20 seconds off the lead already. We're only 18 laps in. Majeski setting a very fast pace. Hasn't shown any signs of falling off at this point in the run, though we're still in the first half of stage 1. Lap 20 of 45 in this opening stage. And again, 150 laps total in tonight's race. Ben Rhodes, William Sawalich running door-to-door for position. Sawalich has also dropped a few positions from the initial start of the race. Qualified in the upper teens and still slipping backwards on this opening run. Daniel Dye also falling backwards after qualifying in the top 10. I believe he started this race in 10th. Excuse me, no, he did not. I think it was 12th. Both the Spire trucks, the 7 and 77, were in row 5. The only thing that this raw feed is missing is the starting position of every driver. It's a little easier for me to be able to remember that on some of the Xfinity weekends and some of the Cup weekends because they always qualify. Well, I wouldn't say always for the Xfinity Series, but there are times they qualify the day before the race. Obviously, Cup Series never qualifies on race day. It's easier for me to remember because I'm looking at it a full day in advance. The Truck Series, they literally don't qualify till hours before the race every weekend, so not having it in front of me at all times. I've got the chat on my phone, like I can go back onto the NASCAR app and check, but I'm logging out of the chat consistently. What we can't remember is the top few starters in this race, and of the drivers who qualified up in the top 5 positions, the only driver that's up in the top 5 now that didn't qualify there is Nick Sanchez in 4th. Reason's dropped a few spots to 6th already. Jeske's already got 11 seconds over Enfinger in 5th. I mean, just to put it in perspective, Enfinger was close last season to winning the championship in one of those late overtime restarts before getting caught up in an incident, though. Was running mid-pack at best for most of the race, with Hocevar and Heim, who were in the championship four, taking each other out. That really opened the door up for Rhodes and Enfinger to try to take advantage, and Ben Rhodes was definitely able to do so in winning that title. His second at the Craftsman Truck Series level. Super B-Man 1, a.k.a. Tim Irvin, thanks for the $9.99 super chat. Thanks for staying with NASCAR stuff. Let's have fun watching Championship Weekend, for sure, man. Greatly appreciate that. Of course, one of the longtime viewers of the channel. Cool to see you popping in still. Emogene Blevins, also thanks for tuning into the stream, as well as Kirk Bullard. Thanks for tuning in. Ty Majeski win the race and the championship. Well, he's definitely off to a good start, as they're in the midst of another commercial break on FS1 right now. Corey Heim is eating into that lead finally, so have we seen the cliff point for Majeski in this 98 truck? Down to a 1 second lead. It was about a 2.5 second advantage he had just a couple of laps ago. That last lap, 0.3 of a second quicker for Corey Heim in the 11. And Christian Eckes also went third, about 0.4 quicker than the race leader, though he is 5.9 seconds off the lead still. Now Heim's within a half a second of the race lead, and he may get there very, very quickly. Starting to put a charge on. We're going to have our first battle for the lead here today. Kevin Stallman, thanks for the $2 super chat as well. Last thing we want is a repeat of 2023. I agree with you on that one. I don't know that Majeski was necessarily struggling in lap traffic. He did just put Brett Moffitt in the Ford truck a lap down. So one lap truck now between the top 2 positions. See how much harder through turn 1 Corey Heim was charging the entry. And unfortunately was not able to clear Moffitt on the high side on the exit of the corner. Lost a little time on that end of the speedway. 16 laps to go in stage 1.
We're going to see that red truck number 11 closing in. You can see Corey Heim is running lap after lap faster. He's kind of second off that lead that Majeski enjoys. You can see the differing lines too. I know he's working through traffic, but you got to feel around, Bill. If your truck's not handling like you want it to, move around.
Got to have a little bit of versatility to be able to move around. Was over a 2 second lead for Majeski not that long ago. Now it's about 3/4 of a second.
Down to 15 laps to go in the stage. You have to kind of wonder, with all that speed he had on those fresh tires, driving away like he did, would he pay the price as the tires heated up? I spoke earlier about how things change, and you can see that's Heim, and he's just dealing with looseness. I think they all are right now.
Yeah, they're only 30 laps into the run. That last run is going to be probably 55 green flag laps without cautions.
talking to Corey Hunt the other day, he was saying that this is going to be a winner-take-all race. He feels that he needs to be in position to win this race. He thinks one of the guys in this championship will take it here tonight, but it's Scott Fidelity was telling me that in addition to how versatile Corey is, he can kind of anticipate what his driver wants, and that's how well that they've worked together. But Corey, staying focused is well done. I haven't heard Corey say much on the radio tonight as well, guys.
Scott Cipodelli, the crew chief, does have championship experience. Won it with Brett Moffitt 2018. They won the penultimate race here at Phoenix and claimed the title at Homestead Miami Speedway to end the year. 13 to go, stage one here at the Desert.
Obviously, as you heard there, Adam Alexander on the play-by-play or lap-by-lap calling of things for FS1 here tonight. And obviously, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip in the booth as well. This is the third full-screen commercial in the first 33 laps of this race already. My goodness. About a dozen laps to go in stage one. Again, about a half a second advantage between Majeski and Heim at the front of the field. And they are putting up great pace on some of those drivers outside the top five already. About 15 seconds back to the sixth-place truck of Dean Thompson. Only 22 trucks are on the lead lap as of right now. And looking at the interval times with the laps that the leaders are running compared to some of those at the tail end of the field, I think you're going to see right around where Sawalch, Rhodes, and Craftsman are. I think if it stays green to the end of the first stage, that's probably going to be around where we're going to see the tail end of the lead lap. Even they're still a few seconds out ahead yet. Jake Garcia just went a lap down that last lap. Stephen Parsons now the last truck in the lead lap. Quick 124.25 mile per hour average race speed. Still caution free in stage one. And Majeski's led every lap from the pole, all 35 thus far. 10 laps to go in stage one. Some of the other lap times I'm seeing further back in the top 10 matching up with some of the leaders as of right now. That could be because of lap traffic. Though Majeski's 29 O's on a consistent basis, it seems. Definitely slower than that of like a Dean Thompson. Lane Riggs, definitely somebody to look out for. This kind of racetrack has been going well for him. The flatter, shorter tracks. Definitely been one of his strong suits so far this season, just short tracks in general, and he's up to 9th. The long run speed out of Lane Riggs has been huge too on these short tracks, having those long green flag runs. So seeing that already in the early going right now. Side by side for the lead as they come back from the break. Corey Heim, Ty Majeski into turns 1 and 2. Heim on the inside, down below the yellow line on the bottom of the track. Majeski running just on it or above. And Heim is clear off turn 2 for the lead. 6.5 laps to go in stage one. This is our first lead change of the night. Daniel Dye right in front of the leaders. 6 to go now for Corey as he leads his first lap of the race. Stage points obviously not on the line for the championship 4, but all the drivers that are obviously in the top 10 right now, not in the championship 4, would get stage points to help their finishing position in the point standings, respectively from where they are running. Coming into the night, we'll go over those point standings a little bit more in depth here as we get into the stage 1 break. And highlight some of the other drivers, obviously, outside of the 4 that are racing for the championship. Heim well down onto the apron, trying to get by Daniel Dye. Usually don't see drivers going that far down onto the apron to make passes this late in the run. 40 laps on the tires. Not as much grip down there to be able to hit the entry mark into turn 1, flatlining it as you would running that low on the apron compared to obviously what you would do earlier in the run. Obviously, with the truck race being, for instance, less than half the length of a Cup Series race, it also doesn't tear the equipment up quite as much running down there because you don't have 312 laps to do it. Because there is a bit of a hop, especially on that first bounce coming from the natural racing line of the track before getting into the dogleg down onto the flatter apron portion. Caution's out for the first time today. Trouble 27. Frankie Muniz right in front of our race and championship leader, Corey Heim. Heim with a quick evasive maneuver to miss him to the outside. That was a very close call. Huge sigh of relief there for the driver of the number 11, I'm sure. Contact.
He didn't know one truck was up under, or excuse me, Muniz.
Oh,
And you see that by Corey Heim? Wow, by the narrow the margins. That radio had to be something for Corey trying to dodge the slower vehicle. He thought about going low and decided at the last second he better go high.
It looked even worse when we look back a little bit farther back.
Last time around, he almost hit the wall. This time he almost hit one of his competitors. I bet he's glad this stage is over. Let's regroup. Looks like Daniel Dye will be our free pass truck. This was a lap before the near miss. Very eventful couple of laps for that 11 truck. Heim has won 6 times this year and very strong right here in Phoenix a season ago. Won the pole and won stage 2, led 47 laps. And he's going to pick up the victory. Oh, and he'll follow the pace truck around one more time and see that green and white checkered flag.
Let's give a call to Dean Thompson. Dean's being shown in the 6th spot. Been solid, great qualifying effort, been solid the entire night.
Well, we saw the problems Connor Jones had at Miami and was suspended last week. He's done a nice job in this race as well, running inside the top 10 there in 9th position. So, like you said, Phil, Dean's done a great job. Seen a lot of speed in him the second half of this season, so that's good to see as he looks forward to next year.
And right behind him, the 7 of Connor Mozak, been strong all night as well. Good qualifying effort. Has run up in the top 10 this entire race. There's Connor right there.
And right behind him, Lane Riggs. If you go back early in this race, he fell back to 11th or 12th, but good on the long run. And if you rewind to Milwaukee and Bristol, the 2 races he won, really turned it up in the final stage. Just hangs around stage 1, stage 2, and then boom. As soon as we go to that final stint of the race, he really puts things together. So the 38 in a great spot as we wrap up this opening stage. There it is, green and white checker for one of our championship front runners, Corey Heim. He wins the stage. Championship guys right where they need to be. All of them finished stage 1 in the top 5, but nobody as good as number 11. He's in charge at Phoenix.
alrighty. So I was actually trying to pull up some of the championship race history for the Truck Series during that little caution period. I didn't get all the information that I needed at that time. So again, end of stage 1, your top 10 for this stage: Corey Hyman first, Ty Majeski second, Christian Eckes third, Nick Sanchez fourth, Grant Enfinger 5th, Dean Thompson 6th, Connor Mosack 7th, Lane Riggs 8th, Connor Jones 9th, Stuart Friesen 10th, and the free pass goes to Daniel Dye in 20th. And he will be back on the lead lap for this next restart. Fuel side of things, these extra caution laps, they'll be close to making it to the end of the next stage, but I'd imagine the leaders are still going to make their way to pit road and change tires, especially with only half the field on the lead lap already. 51 likes on the stream. Again, our goal is to get to 100, already halfway there. Greatly appreciate that, everyone. We'll quickly highlight some of the other drivers in the point standings. As of right now, Nick Sanchez actually comes in 5th in points. He's 20 points ahead of Taylor Gray for that top 5 spot. So the stage points obviously huge for Nick Sanchez for that side of thing. Trying to get the highest points paying finish that he can, obviously coming into this one. And obviously of those that missed the championship 4, So you got Gray 6th in points. Raja Karut the 7th. He actually lost 2 spots after last week. Sanchez gained 3. He was 8th going into last week. Comes out 5th. And as far as the rest of them, you got Tyler Ankrum 8th. Daniel Dye 9th. Ben Rhodes 10th. Last of the playoff originals. Lane Riggs at 11th. No surprise there considering how strong he's been through the playoff races despite not qualifying initially. Stuart Friesens ran in the top 10 all night, though slipping on this long green flag run to start the race. Is 12th in points. Tanner Gray 13th. Matt Craftsman 14th. Chase Purdy 15th. Dean Thompson in 16th. Jake Garcia 17th. Bailey Curry 18th. 19th for Brett Holmes. And Caden Honeycutt, despite running only 13 races this season, is 20th in points. Definitely be fun to see him next season full-time at Nice. I think he might make a big championship run. Maybe win a couple of races. I'm expecting some big things out of him next season. Especially with a lot of the Truck Series, regulars that we see right now, like a Christian Eckes, Nick Sanchez, who have 6 wins combined between the two of them, going to Xfinity full-time next season. Not even going to be here. Definitely going to leave some extra competitive rides open. We'll take our first ad break in the stream as well during the Stage 1 break. Pit stops on the other side. For the first time tonight, you're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship race at Phoenix.
HughesNet Football on Fox with a special 2-hour Veterans Day pregame show live from Naval Base San Diego. Then Brock Purdy and the Niners take on Baker Mayfield at the Bucs or other regional action. It all kicks off 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox. How's your fantasy team doing, fellas? Good? I don't want to talk about it. My truck fantasy team, I've got Corey Hine.
Me too. He's on top of my list.
My football team's doing well.
I know they are. I saw them firsthand over the weekend. Made the trip to Lambeau. Lions look good. Yeah, you know who I saw there? Images.
How about that?
Yeah, he's a season ticket holder.
Oh,
for
wow.
The Green Bay Packers.
I think I found my new favorite truck driver.
Members loosening up, getting ready for this.
I knew he's from Wisconsin, so that's not surprising.
The driver. The crews have to execute perfectly tonight. Anticipate everybody comes down here for 4 tires. And Corey Hine is leading them. Here's Todd Bodine.
Time adjusted to 98. We watched his truck go away from him the last 20 laps of that run. Joe Shearer debating what change to make. Didn't want to make the truck too tight. He's going to drop the track bar 1 round and give him some lateral grip in the back. Amanda?
You can see the picture. It's happening for free. Hyman backed up there to get better on that right-hand side, left-hand side of that truck. They did remind him of these pit stop procedures. Said, do not stall it on that launch, Regan.
Entire run, it did get a little better towards the end in the middle, tightened up just a little bit. And the 9 car of Grant Enfinger right now is still free off of the corners, not as bad as yesterday. And when he got clean air, it actually tightened the truck up just a little bit in the middle.
Change at the front. Ty Majeski wins the race off pit road. Eckes jumps to second. Corey Hine comes off third.
I said you had to be perfect as a driver. You can see he slid for his pit most of the way. And that puts the team in a bind when they get around to that left side. Getting the jack under it. He had to back up in order for them to do that. And that made that pit stop much slower than it should have been.
You lost 2 or 3 spots on pit road. Majeski's bunch did the job. Got him out first.
Whoa, you see the rear tire changer trying to anticipate that truck stopping and got hung up on that spoiler.
Just misjudged it by just a little bit. He wants to get by that spoiler just as quickly as he can. Let's listen to what Corey Hine said on the radio.
They're going to work on that.
That's exactly what it looked like for Enfinger as well. Just sliding through there like he couldn't get it stopped. Troubles on pit road for our championship 4. The race leader when we return is Ty Majeski.
Maybe somebody was leaking fluids in practice sessions going on earlier, or dropped. Maybe they were like changing the oil or something and ended up like just spilling it everywhere. I don't know what they're doing in practice, post-practice, but obviously they're all parked. Well, no, they would have been parked in the garage area because they had a full 50 minutes this weekend. So they weren't parked on pit road like they usually are. Yeah, I don't know why that's the case. Interesting. Either way, a driver misjudgment there for Corey Heim cost him a couple positions on pit road after winning stage 1. He'll be restarting in third. Ty Majeski back in the lead just as he started this race, and Christian Eckes will now be second in the restart. And right back to all the Championship 4 drivers in the top 5 still. And in fact, the same drivers in the top 5 from the end of stage 1 to this next restart, just in a little bit different order, with Heim dropping 2 spots and up 1 for Eckes. And Majeski taking the spots away from Heim. Definitely a quick pit stop at the 11 bunch, despite the slight mistake that Heim made sliding a little too deep in the box. The fact that he had to back up, which paused their stop a little bit and only lost 2 positions. So good credit there. They had a little bit of a difference compared to some of the drivers further back, obviously, with the time they put on 4th on back, who was over 10 seconds off the lead at that time. Some lap traffic in between there gave them that ability to have that slight mistake and not lose too many positions. Looks like Timmy Hill took the wave around, it looks like. Daniel Dye got the free pass, but Hill looked to be the only driver that stayed out of the pits entirely under this caution, so he'll try to make it to the end of stage 2 on fuel. It'll be tight. I think the thought process is if they get an early enough caution in stage 2, then he can pit for tires, and he'll leapfrog everybody else who was a lap down that did end up hitting pit road. Not sure exactly where he was at in the running order before taking the wave around, but looking for the short-term gain for long-term success in this race. We'll obviously have full flag-to-flag coverage for all your Truck Xfinity Cup Series action next season and beyond as well. So just because we're wrapping things up for this year, we will still be back. Next season, we'll kick things off, obviously, with the Busch Clash at the Bowman Gray Stadium early February next year. That'll be our first live commentary stream of the season. Definitely be an interesting one, to say the least. First time in a long time we'll be seeing any sort of Premier Series NASCAR racing going on at the Bowman Gray Stadium. See what our light counter is at right now. T Van, thanks for tuning in. 59 likes so far. We got over 100 people currently watching, so be sure to hit that like button so we can get to that goal of 100 likes before the checkered flag falls here tonight.
We look forward to crowning a champion at the end of the night. Right now, your leader is one of those drivers in the Championship 4, Ty Majeski. Let's get a recap on pit stops with Todd.
Yeah, guys, Ty Majeski, he's actually complaining exactly the same thing Corey Heim did. Really slick getting into his pit box. He wasn't sure what it was, but Crew Chief Joe Shear's having the guys put some more of the sticky stuff down. I don't know what it is. Used to be Coke syrup they use, but you can see how black it is right here. I really wonder, guys, if it's not something to do with maybe the Arca rubber that was down. I don't understand it because it's really black. It got a lot of rubber on it.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, Adam, we'd pour Coca-Cola all over pit road to try to get some grip there, and there's some traction.
Haven't heard that
that's
before.
Going down on pit road. I don't understand why this is developing like it is. The ARCA cars didn't make live pit stops, so that's interesting that they're having this issue. But look how strange that looks.
Yeah, look how black it is all the way from, just past the white line entering all the way up out of their pit box.
We got the report on Majeski and his stop. We saw what happened with Heim. We saw the replay of Infinger, and Grant on the radio also said, I don't know what happened there, but it was almost like, and it's what Heim said, you're driving on ice. I mean, you hit the brakes and then you just, take off. And so a developing story, no doubt, and pit road going to play a huge role here this evening.
Well, only expected to have maybe one more pit stop anyway the rest of the way, so hopefully you don't have to deal with this too much more and they can get that issue resolved before the racing goes on tomorrow night for the Xfinity Series. Green flag is already back in the air now, 3 wide, nearly 4 wide into the first turn again in the back half of the top 10. Ty Majeski going to take to the lead. Matt Crafton's running all the way on the bottom of the racetrack near the wall through turns 1 and 2. Loses a little ground by corner exit. Still 4 wide down that back straightaway before entering turn 3. 3 wide for about third place initially. Enfinger, Sanchez, and Eckes. Enfinger with that late dive to the bottom. Lane Riggs 3 wide middle as well with Connor Mosak on his inside. Raja Kruth to the outside. Definitely a lot of moves being made. Enfinger losing positions again on the restart, just as he did back at the initial start of this race. He's going to fall to 7th. Both Thompson and Mosak going to get around him. Mosak, though, not clear yet, but has the bumper out in front of him now is clear off turn 4. So Majeski had a good short run truck. Corey Heim also got by Christian Eckes for 2nd place on this restart, after initially being in 3rd. Quite a few laps were ran under caution to begin this stage, by the way. I was kind of questioning in my head, like, why the caution was so long. Yellow flag ended up coming out with 3 laps to go in the stage, which would have been lap 43, and we didn't restart until lap 55. 3rd lap following the restart right now, already a 1-second lead for Majeski over Heim at the front of the field. Thompson and Mosak battling for the 5th place position in front of Enfinger at the moment. Well, Grant Simpson line just behind them. Thompson holds them off through 3 and 4 yet again. Top few pulling away. Christian Eckes is trying to keep better pace with Heim and Majeski than what he did back at stage 1. We'll see if his crew made the right adjustments to try to allow that to be the case. Eckes, the former winner at this race a season ago, crashed for Jack Wood in the 91. And a pretty hard impact with the back of his race truck into the outside wall towards turn 2. And this will put us under the yellow flag yet again. Our 2nd incident of the night, our 1st incident bled into the end of stage 1. So all natural yellows to this point. Frankie Muniz spin in turn 4, and now this spin in turns 1 and 2 for Jack Wood. And we'll have to wait to see a replay if there was any contact that led to that. He's down on the bottom lane of the racetrack, 3 wide. A little loose underneath the 41. Might have had a little contact, tough to tell from that angle for sure. Yeah, there might have been a little bit of contact. The 41 truck didn't have a lot of room down there. Bailey Curry was battling him. Daniel Dye, who was on the outside, was the free pass truck from the caution before that. Free pass this time around going to go to Stephen Parsons in the 22nd place position. Parsons will be back on the lead lap, and I don't know that damage is going to be fixable in the 91, unfortunately. And this is probably going to end his night prematurely. He'll be the first retiree from the race, as the other 34 trucks remain in. Of course, when we saw Muniz end up with his spin, he continued on in the race. No damage to that race truck following the spin. $89 to go this time by under the caution. 30 laps left yet in stage 2 from where we're at right now. Ace Elshire and Seth Thomas, also thanks for tuning into the stream. Another commercial break on Fox Sports 1. This is the 5th one I've counted. 5th full screen break in the first 60 laps. Granted, I will say at least the last 2 have been under caution. Though when you only have 45 laps, maybe 47 laps or so of green flag racing to this point, still had quite a few. Well over 150 concurrent viewers watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 2/3 of the way to our like goal. 69 likes, in fact, a little over 2/3 of the way there. Try to get that up to 100 before the end of the stream. We'll take our second break of our own here as we're during this caution period early in stage 2 for the Craftsman Truck Series Championship race at Phoenix. Again, you're listening live on KRC. Checking out our chat poll right now. It's a tight one. Asked you who would be the championship winner for the Truck Series tonight. 29%. Make that 28%. Taking Eckes and Majeski. So we got a tie at the top right now. 25% Corey Heim, including those top 2. Can't get any tighter with the tie. 123 votes have been casted so far. And you have a little less than 30 laps to go for it. Lap 90, end of stage 2, is when that pole will close. Robert Goodrich, thanks for tuning in. Like the stream, otherwise Kevin LePage takes out your favorite driver. Not again. That's the quick caution, by the way, that Timmy Hill needed, so now he's able to hit pit road for the first time tonight, take his 4 fresh tires, and remain on the lead lap. Nice little strategy call working out for him. Have a few lap fresher tires, and those he'll be running around as well. Grant Enfinger's got to keep from losing positions on these restarts if he's going to want any sort of a shot at winning the title. He's lost 2 to 3 positions on the initial start, another 2 positions on this restart. And now he's back in 7th.
After a huge win against Penn State, the second-ranked Buckeyes are back on Big Noon to face off against Purdue. It all starts 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow with Big Noon kickoff live from Lubbock ahead of the Colorado-Texas Tech game. Then it's Purdue-Ohio State at noon, only on Fox. Go Purdue. Big one in the Big Ten. Boiler up, as my wife Audra would say.
Never really been a Purdue fan, but I will be.
That's because you're a Michigan guy,
Yeah, true.
and they're playing the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Christian Eckes running third, Regan.
Well, Adam Christian Eckes this run here, still free like he was the first run of the race, but something interesting on the radio a moment ago I picked up on. They were talking about cycles on tires. He said, let's see what it does this next run. This will be the first time that we run on cycle tires. What that means is the tires got hot. They cooled off some. They're going to get hot again. Michael and Phil, you know as well as I do, that affects the balance some when you do that. And Todd, I think that could be a big deal as this run plays out here.
Yeah, guys, I think I might have figured a little something out on these pit stalls. You know, we are out here in the desert, and there's a lot of sand blowing around. And when I watch these guys with their blowers blowing their pit stalls, it's not so much rubber that I see them blowing. I see a lot of sand blowing, so that might be part of the problem.
Well, they've worked on those stalls in this period of racing. So when they make their second stops of the night, we'll see if they've solved the problem. Front row for the restart going to come as we complete lap 19. It'll be 25 to go in the stage. And it's Majeski outside of Hine.
Ooh.
I'm already bumping and banging.
You said pushing and shoving, Mike.
4 wide for the lead.
Alpha said 4 and 5 wide.
We've done all that.
If you can count it in there somewhere, it's there. Hine able to sneak by on the restart. Well, crossover from Majeski as they head to turn 3.
And on that two truck with Nick Sanchez, he's been solid in this first stage of this.
There's Lane Riggs also battling for the top 5 spot.
Adam, you talked about in Milwaukee how that thing really came on late. Here he is battling Connor Mozak right now.
He's ahead of schedule, actually. I said he did in the final stage. Here we are midway through stage 2, and the 38 is surfaced at the front.
Red Enfinger back there behind Mozak.
Restart violation for the 5 of Dean Thompson. Tough break for him.
Ouch.
The early portion of this race, every lap inside the top 10.
Man, that 38 truck looks good, doesn't it?
Sure does.
There's Dean Thompson up third.
Oh!
It's a shame as good a truck and as good a run as Dean's had.
Got to get down to the bottom, let these guys know he's pitting.
Takes 30 to 77 trying to make his way around Dean. You have to stay in line till you get to start finish line. You see him pull out of the line, move down to the bottom. He didn't necessarily improve his position, but that's not the rule. You have to stay in line till you get to that start finish line.
But this track just promotes a lack of patience on these restarts, Mike.
Yeah, you've got to go at them, and these guys know it. They've watched race films. They've seen what happens on these restarts, and so they get with it in a hurry. Jack was just a little bit too much of a hurry there.
Corey Hyde has led 14 laps tonight, and he's in charge right now with 22 to go on the stage.
All right. Corey Heim, Ty Majeski lead the way at the front of the field, and a tight battle at that for the lead as they cut to yet another break. A little under 0.2 of a second advantage. Obviously, Majeski's been better on the short run, but losing the lead initially on the restart to Corey Heim. Maybe a little bit more of a battle here in the early going of the green flag run than what we might have seen otherwise if Majeski was back out in front. We'll see how long Majeski will be able to keep and put that pressure on Corey before his truck maybe starts to fall off, if it falls off at all. I mean, considering Heim didn't get around Majeski until 6 laps to go back at stage 1, and the fact that we're going to have less green flag laps of racing with obviously the caution laps during the stage end and the early caution for another incident from Jack Wood at the beginning of stage 2 as well. We did have a heat cycle on these tires, obviously, from the restart this time around what we had at the beginning of the stage, but still, it'll be something to look out for. Dean Thompson towards the tail end of the lead lap now following his restart violation. Pulled out of the line before they had gotten to the start-finish line. I will say he wasn't down on the apron at that point in time. It seemed to me like a little bit of a nitpicky call, to be completely honest. And it's obviously tough when you have the curved shape of the dog leg on the front stretch as it is. I know you can't go to the apron before the start finish line, which he did not do, but apparently he was out of the inside line of race cars, which is why he got penalized. I still don't fully agree with the call, but now looking at it, it looks like he is a lap down. Actually, he might even be 2 laps down. Did he speed on pit road? He was at the tail end of the lead lap, and now he scored 2 laps down and 28th on our leaderboard. He might have sped on pit road. Good day gone bad for him. He was up in 7th on the restart, I do believe. 5th, actually. He was actually the 3rd car in line. Fell to 9th initially before getting penalized, but yeah, that's tough. Hopefully we don't get an extra 29 laps again. Hopefully. Appreciate you tuning in there, Corbin. Majeski did take the race lead during the commercial break, 1 second out ahead of Corey Heim now. So Majeski leads Heim in 2nd. Nick Sanchez is now up to 3rd. Lane Riggs 4th, and Christian Eckes is back in 5th place. Well, contact between Majeski and Heim. It looked like Heim really pinched Majeski on corner entry. Didn't give him a lot of room there. That was in 3 and 4. Then in turns 1 and 2. Actually, it might be a replay of the same deal. Yeah, I think it was. Definitely a wiggle up the racetrack by the 98, but I will say that the 11 didn't give him a lot of room. And then he ended up getting to the outside lane of the racetrack the following lap. And that's when the pass was completed in 3 and 4. So Majeski making the pass on the outside of Corey Heim, failed to make the pass down in the bottom. 14 laps to go in stage 2, a 1.4 second lead for Ty Majeski. I will say if we get any late race cautions, I would say Majeski might have the upper hand, because he's definitely got that short fire-off speed. And obviously with the Truck Series being a shorter race, we get 1 caution in the middle, for instance, in Stage 3. I think this is a better chance for Majeski to maybe go out here and get the win over a Corey Heim. Grant Enfinger's still trying to battle back. He did lose a couple more spots on the restart again. He's back at 8th. Make that 9th now. Taylor Gray looking to the inside of Enfinger. Grant's been the consistently 4th best of these Championship 4 so far. He was the first one to lock himself in with the win in the opening race of the round at Talladega for the round of 8. Then won the second race a couple weeks later at Homestead Miami Speedway. His only 2 wins of the season so far. But it might take a lot for him to get the pace needed and obviously track position as well to get up there with a Majeski and a Corey Heim. Just over halfway through the race now, just 72 laps to go, so time is not on his side. And for Christian Eckes, who's losing time to the leaders, He's actually further off the race lead now than what he was all of stage 1. He's 6.1, 6.2 or so seconds off the lead. He didn't really fall further than 5.5 seconds off the lead in stage 1. This is a shorter green flag run to where we're at right now as well, compared to the entirety of the last stage. Lane Riggs is, I think, the guy that you got to look out for maybe the race win today. Consistently getting better on these longer runs. Qualified outside the top 10, up to 4th as of right now. And again, long green flag runs have been his specialty on these short tracks so far this season. And later in the season, Milwaukee, Bristol, en route to those wins there. I think it could be a fun championship battle all next year between Heim and Riggs. Ty Majeski trying to steal the title away from Heim. Second consecutive year it might be stolen away from the driver who was arguably the best throughout the season. Same driver in that number 11 as well. 9 laps to go. Stage 2 in order rundown. As we're just past halfway. Again, Ty Majeski out ahead. 2-second advantage now over Corey Heim in second. 4 seconds back to Nick Sanchez in third. Lane Riggs just behind him in fourth. Christian Eck is fifth. Connor Mosack sixth. Grant Enfinger back up to 7. 2 spots gained over the last several laps for him. Stuart Friesen in 8th. Taylor Gray 9th. And Chase Purdy rounds out the top 10 in 10th. Ben Rhodes in 11th. Raja Karut 12th. Tanner Gray 13th. Connor Jones 14th. And Caden Honeycutt 15th. Daniel Dye in 16th. William Sawalich in 17th. 18th for Tyler Anker, Matt Craft in 19th, and Stephen Parsons 20th. Timmy Hill last truck in the lead lap in 21st. Jake Garcia 22nd. Dawson Sutton 23rd. Brett Moffitt 24th. Bailey Curry 25th. Andres Perez de Lara 26th. Matt Mills 27th. Dean Thompson 28th. Spencer Boyd 29th. And Keith McGee is in 30th. Frankie Muniz 31st. Lawless Allen 32nd. Thad Moffitt 33rd, Nathan Bird 34th, and Jack Wood still the only truck out of the race, 35th, following his crash early in Stage 2, which ended up taking place on lap 58. Average race speed at this point, 95.5 miles per hour, a little over 50 minutes from the drop of the green flag to where we're at now. 68 laps led and counting for our pole and race leader. Ty Majeski's led 3 different times for that lap total. Corey Heim has led for 16 laps. He was our Stage 1 winner. He's led twice. Grant Enfinger got credited with 1 lap led. I'm not sure where that came about. It must have been on pit road. They passed the start-finish line during the Stage 1 pit stops. That would be the only thing I could think of because he hasn't been higher than 5th the entire race. Apparently got credited with the lead change there. I guess it counts technically. Lane Riggs making a pass for 3rd place a couple laps ago on Sanchez as well. I think honestly mid-race, I think Riggs is the favorite for the win. He gets up there and battles Majeski. Could burn Majeski's tires off earlier in a long run situation. That could help Corey Heim, if you think about it that way. Eck is still trying to hold on to 5th at 7.7 seconds back to the end of the stage. Picked up 1 spot during pit stops the first go around, so we'll see if he can do that or better on the second go through on pit stops. Back from the commercial break now in FS1, 3 laps to go, stage 2. Boda Majeski on the pole. Yeah, we'll take a more in-depth look at that when we get to the stage end when I go to close the poll, but Majeski's leading the way right now by 1% over Christian Eckes. Surprised that Corey Heim didn't get more votes. That Heim wasn't at least 2nd. Close 3rd to Eckes, but I mean, obviously Majeski and Heim are just better than Eckes and Enfinger today as a whole. Mosack, battling Eckes for 5th currently as well. And Christian's going to hold on. He's about a half a second ahead of him with a lap and a half to go now in stage 2. A lot of traffic in the back half of the top 10. Ben Rhodes has cracked the top 10 for the first time tonight. He was 19th at the end of stage 1, so they've done a great job with that 99 truck just to get him into the top 10 in this stage alone. He's done well. What a second stage for Ty Majeski. A 3.9 second margin of victory here in stage 2 for him. Corey Heim ends up in second. Third for Lane Riggs. Fourth, Nick Sand. Grant Enfinger 7th. 8th for Taylor Gray. Stuart Friesen 9th. Ben Rhodes 10th. And this is now our third caution of the day. And unlike stage 1 ending under caution, this stage ends under green. Free pass goes to 22nd place Jake Garcia in the 13 truck, his first free pass of the night. And we are down under 60 laps to go now here in the Craftsman Truck Series Championship race at Phoenix. This thing's flying by. Mentioned before the start of the race in stream that it has been one of the shorter races of the season. 150 miles, not a long one by any means. Up to this point, only 2 cautions for actual incidents. Yeah, Majeski definitely the class of the field through stage 2. Heim did a better job maybe taking care of his tires back at stage 1. I do think that caution early in the stage and the extra caution laps during the stage break itself definitely helped Majeski, but he never fell off whatsoever here in stage 2. He just pulled away, kept pulling away. He actually had a bigger lead at the end of this stage than what he had the entirety of his gap that he put over Heim back at stage 1 as well. So I don't know if maybe the 11 team went the wrong way maybe with an adjustment, considering he was still ahead in second by a few seconds over Lane Riggs. Tells me that it was more maybe the 98 team going further in the correct direction than what it was Heim maybe going in the wrong direction. Still could be work that could be had. Each of these teams have 2 sets of tires left the rest of this race, so this may not be the final stop. If we get a caution after enough green flag laps in stage 3, we may see more pit stops. Obviously, if it goes green to the end, this would be the last stop, so you just don't know for sure. So I could maybe play into a little bit of a strategy side of things if we do see a yellow in the early laps of stage 3. And still just 22 trucks on the lead lap when we get the restart in. There might be more than that, depending on if anybody takes the wave around also. Already stage 3. Yes, it is. The State Ball. Thanks for tuning in. Jeff Curry, also welcome to the stream. And the chat poll now, as we're at the end of stage 2, 29% of the votes taking our stage 2 and most laps led leader, Ty Majeski. 27% taking Christian Eckes, 25% for Corey Heim, and 18% for Grant Enfinger to win the championships here tonight at Phoenix.
This way, 18 miles west of downtown in Avondale, Arizona.
That's just beautiful, Adam.
It
I
is.
love this destination. All those campers.
Jeski loves it too. 76 laps tonight. Won our second stage, and he'll lead him onto pit road in just a moment.
Oh, what? I thought you. Goes for like a 4-3, 4-5. Maybe an order last year. I got nothing here on here, boys. But I work on here, bud.
Yeah, what Ty Majeski was talking about right there is this set of tires stagger-wise does not match up to what is on the truck. They are adjusting the air pressure just a little bit to try to compensate for that. Other than that, Ty did not want any other changes. He said this thing's a rocket ship.
Lemon had to stop here, made it into the box. The team told him to come in a little shallow and use some of the ones pit box. See some of those adjustments being made. Corey did sound a little bit dejected there at the end of this cycle, guys.
I think Christian Eckes way too loose on this set of tires. It starts loose, it stays loose, it does not tighten it up enough as he runs, and the night car Grant Enfinger way too tight as he fires, or excuse me, too loose as he fires off. Can't get that truck to come in.
You know, I thought Corey Heim might actually get Majeski, but he had a little bit of wheel spin as he made the exit there on the pit lane.
You could see all those trucks just spinning the tires more than I've ever seen before as they were leaving the pits. It's amazing.
Heim actually dropped 3 positions, came off pit road in 5th. Ty Majeski holds serve. He's your leader.
Well, that's going to help him out just a little bit more. Him being Majeski, obviously, with Heim losing 3 positions on pit road. Came in 2nd, leaves 5th. Again, I do think Lane Riggs is going to be the one to beat. I know Majeski's been the one to beat so far by the laps led side of things and having the big lead, but Riggs is getting closer and closer to the front of the field with these restarts. He actually lost a spot on pit road. He's going to be 4th on this time around, but still is closer. I think Lane Riggs is going to be the guy to beat for the race. For the championship, though, it definitely looks like Majeski after stage 2. Did sound like Heim when he was radioing to his crew that they went the wrong way and got a little tighter through that last stage. Obviously resulted in him finishing further behind. 2nd compared to 1st at the end of stage 1, of course, but even the interval again was a lot bigger for Heim to even try to overcome in this stage compared to stage number 1. He was about 2.5 seconds back at the furthest, 3.5, 3.8, 3.9 there right at the end of the stage this time. Steve Stevenson, thanks for tuning in. Has his name twice in his name. Maybe should have voted for Ty. Riggs is awesome. Yeah, Riggs is definitely showing out on these short tracks this season. Knowing that Majeski, obviously Riggs later in the year, but then Krishnak is winning on a lot of the short tracks this year, that's going to free up even more, I think, for Lane Riggs to win even more short track races next season with Eckes going full-time Xfinity racing. Those 2 Martinsville races, for instance, could really go his way. Corey Heim does have a win in Martinsville. He won the spring race there last season, beating Kyle Busch nonetheless. Granted, it was a rain-shortened race, but he still beat him. He was still racing him straight up to that point. Now this year, Corey Heim, not as great at Martinsville. I ran back half of the top 10 in both of them.
The 9-month journey in 2024 for the Craftsman Truck Series started in Daytona. It ends tonight in Phoenix. And we've hit the final stage. And in just over 50 laps, we'll be ready to present a trophy. And right now, the man that's getting it done, Ty Majeski, a winner in stage 2. He wins the race off pit road. He's been dominant tonight. Now he's going to try and finish the deal. And some of these other title contenders have work to do, including the 9 of Grant Enfinger, who will be 8th when we go green for this final stage.
Are you thinking about a Hail Mary? Like, if you don't think of that as being last, we got nothing to lose.
And something else to keep an eye on with the 9 truck right now. He has no fire-off speed. Of course, back in traffic, the best way to make up time is on these restarts, but they are struggling to get that thing to go early on in the runs as well.
Yeah, he's definitely struggled with fire-off speed for sure. I mean, he's lost a couple positions every single restart so far.
In the pits. And no surprise, Majeski takes the outside lane for the restart here, Michael.
Yep, he's been doing that consistently. He'll do it again. Nick Sanchez will be inside row 1 below him, and then Lynn Riggs inside row 2. Green flag back in the air. Heim jumped down to the inside pretty early. I mean, they called a penalty on the last restart on Dean Thompson for that. Aggressive move to try to get some of that track position from the lost spots on pit road. 1 truck up against the wall on turn 2, and around goes Ankrum on the back straightaway. Sawalich pounds the outside wall as well. They're stacking up, trying to miss Ankrum. 1 truck pounds into him. That's Frankie Muniz. And back down the track into another one. Caution is out instantly. And a big crash on the back straightaway here at Phoenix. 44 truck also involved in it. hood covering the windshield on his race machine. That'd be Stephen Parsons. Second incident Muniz, unfortunately, that has been involved in so far tonight. Nowhere to go for a lot of these drivers trying to get out of the brake, sliding their tires. Thad Moffitt with heavy damage. And obviously, Tyler Ankrum got beat around pretty good by a couple of different race trucks. End of the night for him as he's climbing out of his 18 machine. Williams Walsh has quite a bit of damage after hitting the outside wall pretty hard with the right front. Also had an impact with the 18 truck as well. Somebody got against the wall off turn 2, which kind of stacked things up behind, which started the incident. Had to take a good look at the replay again as they're showing. It was the 7 truck of Connor Mosak that got against the wall off turn 2, and then they were kind of 3, nearly 4 wide underneath them to miss. And there was contact there, and that caused, obviously, the melee, which ended up taking place then behind Mosak. Wide up against the wall. Came off the wall, maybe half a truck length, but that was after the contact with it. He's doing all he could to try to keep his truck to the outside. But still congested from the restart underneath him, and there was just really nowhere to go. I mean, Ankrum was sandwiched between 2 trucks underneath of Mosak as it was before he kind of got clipped back up the racetrack again. Yeah, the 7 getting up against the outside wall definitely started it. Oddly enough, Mosak, I don't think had any contact from anybody else that was involved in the incident outside of himself getting up against the outside wall. He should be able to continue, but quite a few trucks that are going to have an early off-season following this crash. So Walsh is done for the night. Hopped out of his truck. So wait to see who is all retiring from the race following this incident. Our 3rd incident of the night. Our 4th caution of the race in total. And Ty Majeski was scored as the leader at the time of the yellow. He was side by side for the lead on the restart with Sanchez. Heim gets those 2 positions initially on the restart to go from 5th back to 3rd. No call on a restart violation for him, so apparently he did stay in line on the inside lane before getting to the restart. They are reviewing it right now, it looks like. It was closer than what it was with Dean Thompson, I will say that. And they did stack up right in front of him, too. I mean, I thought the Thompson deal was clean. This one being a little closer, I would imagine that it should be clean for Heim.
But as Michael said, if you're next in line, it's just common sense to follow the guy in front of you and think the green light is on. We'll follow up with that story when we come back. Caution out for the 4th time tonight, early in the...
I was kind of trying to listen into that. Maybe he is getting a penalty for it. I'm not able to actually listen to the broadcast itself unless obviously you guys are listening to it too when I air it on the stream. So I'll make sure I get back with them when they come back from this next commercial break. Expect like 10 more cautions. Hopefully not. Stefan running the Xfinity race tomorrow. Yeah, he's ran actually, I think, more Xfinity races this season than we've seen him in the Truck Series. He's ran most of the races this season, if not all of them, on the Xfinity Series level. Checking the point standings real quick. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's running for Xfinity points too for the races he's ran there. Let's check the Xfinity points real quick. I don't see him. I must have missed him. Maybe he is running truck points. So he's declared in the 75 truck for truck points this season. He's only ran 10 truck races, so I'm actually kind of surprised he was in truck points and not Xfinity points. I swear I've seen him in a lot more Xfinity races this season than trucks. Again, this is only his 11th truck race of the year. Apparently he was declared for points in the 75. I'm actually surprised by that. No wonder I couldn't find him on the Xfinity leaderboard. Red flag conditions, by the way, here at Phoenix following the incident. Lengthy cleanup on the back straightaway to be had, blocking the racetrack with the safety vehicle. So red flag is out, 47 laps to go.
Final stage, and our fourth caution of the night, a crash down the back straightaway, has led to our first red flag. It'll be a little bit before they can get this thing cleaned up.
Yeah. What a mess it was. We saw the crew coming out of trucks. You see the 7 truck into the outside wall, and then people just scrambling from there.
There's faults where the hard hit to the inside wall as well.
And some of those guys sneaking through there. See, Stuart Creason was able to do some. Matt Crafton too.
And Haley Curry going by right now.
And the drivers involved in the crash, not the only ones having an issue on this restart. Let's look back once again at Corey Hahn.
We wondered if he dove to the bottom before the start finish line. And NASCAR deemed that he did out of line before the start finish line. He'll have to serve a drive-through penalty.
And it's hard to believe that that's his first penalty all year. No speeding out pit road, anything like that.
And with this caution coming up,
There's always going to be that debate about what he saw and why Corey Hahn made that move.
but you know, with the caution coming out like it did, his penalty will now be just start at the tail end instead of that pass-through penalty under green. I mean, that's a good situation for them the way this worked out.
I think NASCAR took some extra time to make sure they were right in making that call, and they're very comfortable with that call being the right way. So it's going to be fun to watch Corey Hahn make his way from the back of the pack for sure.
Grant Enfinger 7th right now, Regan.
Well, that's right, Adam. Running in the 7th position. His crew chief, Jeff Jankowicz. We know that you guys have been struggling on restarts a little bit tonight so far. How do you make up those 6 positions you need to get up to the lead, though, with what's going on?
Yeah, we just got to get aggressive on these restarts. We just haven't had the grip that those guys have to fire off. At the end of the run, our truck has really good speeds. Our lap times are comparable to the leaders, but it's just too late by then. So we've been working on some air pressures, trying to get some fire off speed here. It's all about the restarts. Are kind of crazy if he picks the right line and gets some good momentum. I think we can get up there a little bit. It seemed to fire off a little bit better. It was only one corner, but he was able to maintain and make a couple passes. So I think we're heading in the right direction. If it goes green, we'll just have to go here on the restart and hope it all plays out. But if we get another caution, I think we can keep working on it, get it better.
All right, good luck the rest of the night. Thanks. Top?
Here with Kevin Bono Mannion, crew chief for Nick Sanchez. Man, you guys been hanging around the top 5 the whole race. Little loose to begin. Gonna fire off on this restart in second. What you got for him?
Well, it just, we started the year out with a win. We'd like to close it out with a win. You got to kind of bookend, Nick's last race with us. He's moving on, but, really, Chevy Gamebridge has been really, really good tonight. And, we were hoping we were racing here for a championship, just come up a little short last week. So just trying to be respectful for the guys in the championship. but still race hard and go for a win.
There we go, getting another win, maybe 3 this year, Amanda.
Well, Todd, I heard Scott Zipadelli tell Corey Heim, we're going to lose this battle. However, we could still win this war. How do you keep Corey's mind at peace and ready for what's ahead of him?
You ever tease the cage tiger? That's probably what I have right now. Yeah, he doesn't quite understand. He doesn't have the picture we have. So, yeah, we'll serve the penalty, and we've got 47 laps to get back to the front. Hopefully, we'll catch a caution or two, and they'll re-rack them, and maybe another pit stop. But it's not over yet. Our truck's good, so hopefully we can get our Safe Light Toyota Pro up victory lane.
Corey Heim, a caged tiger. Sounds pretty threatening, Regan.
Well, Chris Neck has been running in the 5th place right now currently. Charles and Knight, you guys have been working on this truck all night long trying to find that perfect balance. Are we close enough with that yet to make a run at it in this final run?
Yeah, we're close. We're a little bit too free still, so we're fighting that and trying to find the right long run balance here. But hopefully we fire off good after this restart. Christian's doing good. We're fighting to the end. So hopefully we just get the balance that we need and maybe not quite so free. We'll be able to do a little better here.
Adam, we knew this was going to be a battle to the end tonight. These guys are all still right in the game trying to get this championship.
No one giving up, and everybody still got a chance in the game with 47 laps to go. I look at what Todd Majeski has been able to do, and championship moments are all about rising to the occasion and stepping up. You look at his performance tonight. I mean, not only winning the pole earlier today, but taking advantage of things in that second stage, getting that green and white checkered flag. He's led 85 laps, and everybody else in the championship hunt appears to be fighting something. They right now in total control.
And I think a lot of that happened at the shop. A lot of that preparation that Joe Shear and all his guys did at that shop has a lot to do with how that 98 truck is running.
The red flag has been lifted. Trucks rolling again. Green flag back in the air when we return to Phoenix.
All right. Wait to get this next restart in. Didn't get the diecast showing out during the stage 2 break, so during this long, lengthy caution/red flag period, we'll get it out now. Here's former NASCAR Cup Series champion and obviously a very good driver at the Phoenix Raceway. Most top 10s consecutively all time, not only in the track history, but in any track's history came right here. And obviously the most winningest driver in Phoenix history in the NASCAR Cup Series, that being Kevin Harvick. This is his Stewart-Haas Racing number 4 Ford Mustang subway car. This specifically is from 2021, and it's actually a race diecast from the Bristol All-Star race. You can see the NASCAR playoff logo and the round of 16 logo on the car. So this specifically from the 2021 night race where he was very heated with Chase Elliott after the race was over. I like this car personally, and I was actually at this race all of the weekend's races in 2021 at Bristol, so I really wanted to get this diecast when I had the chance. And definitely my favorite Bristol trip of those that I've taken so far. I had the whole family actually go down that year. First time that they'd gone to another racetrack outside of Michigan, which we've been going annually for a while now. So the fact that we were all down there, and obviously between the Cup race being a great race and the Xfinity race being a great race, it was a great racing weekend, great weekend for the family memory side of things. So I wanted to get this Kevin Harvick diecast. One of my favorite schemes of that weekend. I've always kind of liked the Subway schemes over the years. I don't think this is the best one, but it's a good one. I don't like the new logo that Subway has, by the way, on the hood right here. I don't like it. It looks like some random kind of like Bitcoin like like logo or some sort of like cryptocurrency logo. It doesn't look like Subway to me for some reason. Might have been blinding in the light. I don't know if you guys saw it well enough. I was just kind of looking at the stream. Those of you that don't know what the Subway logo looks like now. Or like a cash advance app or something. I don't know. It doesn't look like Subway.
Starting at 1 Eastern is number 11 Duke. It's 18th ranked Maryland. Then it's 7. Hannah Hidalgo leads number 6 Notre Dame against Purdue. Little in-state rivalry there. It all tips Sunday, only on FS1. Big weekend for Purdue. Yeah, they're all over the Fox family of networks. Just covered up. I hate to say it. I think they're an underdog
in both games.
I say go Maryland against Duke.
That's an old ACC matchup.
Yes. Warming their tires up, cleaning all the debris, loose debris off of them. That's what the swerving back and forth is for. So that they can be set on go when this green flag flies.
Here's Corey Heim serving his penalty, going to drop to the back of the pack.
Our producers and camera people caught the perfect angle of the move that was deemed to be out of line before the start finish line. I think it's pretty clear there. While it was very close, he definitely moved out of line before the start finish line.
So a lot of room up front to work if you're Ty Majeski with these other playoff drivers fighting through some tough times.
And then we just need to make the tires if this thing goes the way. I just don't want to give up that portion of the run we're good at. You know, I'd rather build up a lead and keep it, you know. While with, you know, I think our biggest competition is to the back now.
That sounded like me, Joe Shear, saying, you know, let's pull the reins back on this thing a little bit. There's crew chief Joe Shear. Let's not give it all you've been giving it in this early run. And Todd being the race car driver, no, I gotta go.
Yeah, let him go.
Let's get a lead. I want to get that big lead. And they don't know about Lane Riggs yet. I think Lane really hasn't proved that number 38 truck. He jumps around Sanchez on this restart, gets behind Majeski. He could see that he's not going to drive away like he's been driving away.
You know, none of our championship drivers have won a title before, so we will have a first-time champion. But ThorSport has won it on 5 different occasions, including 2 of the last 3 with Ty's teammate Ben Rhodes.
And Matt Crafton, the other 3 championships for ThorSport.
I just kind of wonder if Ty Majeski cares whether Lane Riggs wins it or not.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm worried about him. He's worried about that 19 truck, that 11 truck, and that 9 truck.
Restart, 43 laps to go. Majeski Sanchez on the front row at Phoenix.
There goes Majeski.
Here comes Eckes.
Eckes not wasting any time. 3 wide for second. Sanchez going in the wrong direction. Riggs up to second behind Majeski.
Too aggressive of a move to the bottom by Eckes. Couldn't hold the speed as low as he was.
Behind him, figure his old teammate, Raja Karuth. Haven't said his name a lot tonight.
Eckes back to the 7th spot.
Like we expected, Lane Riggs can heat up Tom Majeski. 38 Gloves truck has been on the move all night.
And I'm like Joe Shear, don't worry so much about that yellow 38 truck.
Oh, salute says Majeski there.
Don't need to overheat those tires trying to keep that 38 truck behind him.
Looking at our championship drivers, Majeski leads. 5th for Enfinger, 6th for Eckes, and Heim has worked his way back to the top 15 after the penalty that led him to the back on the restart.
Christian just doesn't have
Majeski
under him that he's looking for.
Look at Heim. Elbows up for driver 11.
N66 is home.
Oh! We got a ThorSport truck around.
That caution is exactly what Corey Heim needed. We heard Zippy talk about maybe a couple caution flags to bunch the pack back up. It has done that. Corey Heim pretty back up into the top 10, guys.
Yes, but does he think about coming to get tires?
I certainly would think about
I
it.
mean, I would consider it. They got 2 sets laying, like we said. If it goes green all the way, that could be the difference maker.
Right now,
I don't think it's
22
going green all the way.
shown on the lead lap, and that could play a role on how you manage strategy as well.
They've only had 5 green flag laps since they all pitted on lap number 94.
Stay out.
It feels longer because
It's been like 20 minutes. It's been an hour or 5 green flag laps.
Hunter Jones just
With his teammate, battling with Jake Garcia's teammate.
like we saw earlier, just couldn't make the corner considering that Garcia went lower. Was prepared for that. With great job of swinging around the outside. Was that Ben Rhodes?
It was Ben Rhodes, another one of the teammates for Thor Sport.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. Corey Heim right there. He threw it up in third gear and gunned it off turn 2. Whoa, Ben
Nice
Rhodes.
job by Ben Rhodes.
That's incredible. Listen to him chipping.
Ooh! Almost got squeezed into the inside.
There, against the inside wall. You can see out his right side window, that 66 truck going around.
Hey, by the way, Caden Honeycutt got a penalty on that restart violation. But this caution working for him like it did for Corey Heim. So instead of doing the pass through under green, he'll drop to the rear. And right now he's being scored in the 13th position.
I think Corey Heim right now is pulling up beside the 13. Probably feels as though he should have that spot. They'll just let them figure out what to do here. Here they come.
Grant Enfinger, we heard him say we need to make a Hail Mary, and this is it.
Christian Eck is coming as well.
Majeski stays on the racetrack.
Got a long way to go to get around to the front end of pit road. And when they get there and get their stall, Regan will be waiting on. Here's
What
the
happened
night.
yesterday night? What happened yesterday night? Of Charlton Knight, crew chief for Christian Eckes told me that they would do whatever they had to do to keep tires on this truck. He was going to win or lose with tires. Right now, it needs a little bit more grip. That's what they're going to adjust for on that. The 9-car Grant Enfinger, the best that they have been all day, and he too wanted to be on offense here as the race comes towards the end.
Enfinger will win the battle off the pit road over Eckes and Raja Caruth, and that may be one of the situations, Adam, when you're a little bit of a disadvantage being the leader. Majeski stays on the racetrack, and those other guys said, we're going to do the opposite of what he does.
You said it, but this has worked pretty good for Corey Heim, right? I mean, he's back in a decent position here for the restart. Inside of 35 to go.
All right, so 2 of the 4 championship 4 drivers come to pit road. 2 of them stayed out. The 2 that stayed out, race leader Ty Majeski and then Corey Heim, who had battled up to 10th before the caution. He will be a couple spots higher with several drivers in front of him pitting for fresh tires. Interesting with only 5 green flag laps on him. I don't think that's going to be a big enough advantage for Enfinger and Eckes. And I do think we're going to see more cautions before the end of this race. The way this final stage has started, we've had back-to-back yellows in the span of, again, 5 green flag laps in stage 3, despite the fact we're flag laps in the stage so far. We're at 36 to go as of right now. Ty Majeski out in front of the field, though, for this next restart. Lane Riggs is going to be in second as he got there on the restart prior. Nick Sanchez, who was in second, dropped to third. 4th place, Tanner Gray in fifth. So both the Gray brothers are up there. That is the top 5 on the leaderboard. Thanks for everybody tuning in throughout the entirety of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season on the channel. We'll have obviously more live commentary content coming your way next season and beyond for Truck Xfinity Cup races. Got Cup practice qualifying streams as well. Still 3 more live commentary streams this weekend. Cup qualifying begins at 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Xfinity Series coverage will be tomorrow as well at 7 p.m. Eastern. And of course Sunday for the NASCAR Cup Series Championship finale, and that will be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on the channel. Race will start a little after 3, but we'll go live for our early pre-race, per usual on the Cup Series side of things. So the free pass is the last several cautions. Looks like Dean Thompson got the free pass with this yellow. Had the restart violation earlier, as you heard. Caden Honeycutt got a restart violation on this last restart, so definitely being pretty stingy with it here tonight. And that will probably be a theme for the weekend. Something kind of tells me that NASCAR is cracking down a little harder on that for the Truck Series race here today, considering the wreck fest we saw in the truck race last year. Maybe it's their way of trying to keep the restart slightly more tame by cracking down on this penalty. Because they're definitely not dropping out to the bottom by much. And again, it is tough because the kink in the dog leg here at Phoenix is obviously different from any other racetrack. And they're not getting to the apron before the start-finish line, but they're slightly ducking out of the inside line before they get to the start-finish line. I could see where they're making the call. The reason why I said I don't agree with it is because it is so bang bang on pretty much every single one of them so far. At least they're being consistent with it throughout the course of the race. I'll give them that. But I mean, it's tough. It's tough too when you get, the inside lane basically going up the racetrack. For instance, the leader trying to side draft the truck to the outside on the initial start or restarts from the front row. So then you kind of got to expect every other row to kind of go up with them, and it's tough. Further back you get in traffic to do that. Like Honeycutt restarted outside the top 10 at last restart. I think he was in 13th. So it would have been, what, about inside row 7 got the lane violation there? Heim was inside of row 3, and then same for Thompson earlier when he got the penalty, was inside of row 3.
Well, they'll pass 4 or 5 trucks down here.
Remember how quickly Corey Heim got to the top 10, and that was on the same tires. He did not stop. He just served this penalty and went to the back of the pack.
Watch back there in row 8 or 10. Yellow truck with Grant Infinger on the bottom behind the other yellow truck that's swerving back and forth. Where you see Grant, he's going to be on the gas. Just got to be careful, Phil. We've seen a couple of restart violations.
Yep, definitely been a huge thing on the night so far. Green flag back in the air, 33 laps to go. Ty Majeski gets a pretty decent launch that time, slightly spinning the wheels for him and Lane Riggs. 4 wide to the bottom, nearly 5 wide off into the first turn goes Corey Heim. Lane Riggs slides up the track, and he spins now from 3rd. It backs it against the outside wall slightly in turns 1 and 2, and another caution. And this time it's Rock, that being Nick Sanchez, and slight backing it into the wall. He'll be able to continue. A little bit of damage to the left rear. Corey Heim up to 3rd.
So we can see about that. They're great. A lot of pressure up the middle.
Look at Corey Heim, that red truck on the inside. Is there going to be contact here?
Yep.
Oh, he just slid up into the side of Sanchez.
He needed a little bit more room.
We've seen that 2 or 3 times tonight. It's just hard to tuck that thing down on the low side when you don't have the arrow. Push it down on your truck like you're used to.
It's fun to watch Corey Heim there. They'll go from 8th to 3rd.
Whoa. Nice job around the top there. Let's see who that was.
There's another look at it.
Tanner Gray in the 15. Look at that. He just barely slips by. This ought to be fun.
Watch him drive by Daniel Dye. Now way off the racetrack.
Man, look at the pressure, the intensity on Joe Shear. Knowing what all is at stake, knowing that we were probably going to see a lot of cautions as this race winds down.
You know, we had 7 cautions in the final stage a year ago, 12 overall. We've already had 2 cautions in the final stage tonight.
12 cautions in a 150-mile race is ridiculous.
Just under 30 laps remaining when we get this next restart.
Granted, they went past 150
A
miles,
lot
but
to manage at the front of the field.
Hey, that puts the 11 right back in competition with them. You got enough to hold them on? We're going to find out. There ain't nothing we can do about it, can we?
that's a weird question to ask your driver.
I've known Joe Shear a long time, and this is the most pressure. I've never seen Joe like this. And when Corey went to the back, they thought they had that cushion. And lo and behold, Corey drove it back to the front.
I think they forgot they were in the truck series for a second.
What did Zippy call his driver, Corey Heim?
A caged tiger.
Cage Tiger.
Rawr.
Let's hear from
We
him, Amanda.
absolutely love the Cage Tiger reference. We saw Corey Heim take a bite out from 8th to 3rd in 1 quarter. How proud are you for
Tiger
Corey
references.
keeping right now?
Well, I'm not. You have obviously haven't been listening to the radio chat. He kind of lost his composure for a little while, but I mean that's that goes without saying, you know. So yeah, just told him reset, refocus. We're back where we need to be, and now we just gotta get in front of that 98 and hold them up.
What's possible?
It's possible, yeah. I think the 98 can take off really well, but I think he hurts his tires running that hard. Kind of the line he's running, so hopefully we're better on the long run.
Todd?
Joe Shear, I've never seen you under this kind of pressure. You thought that the 11 to go into the back, you had a little cushion, and that's gone now.
Yeah, exactly. I hate cautions. It's the way it goes. We still got a pretty good truck. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna get interesting.
Good luck, buddy.
But he knows this pressure. I mean, he won the championship with Johnny Sauter 2016. Here's the other thought. Getting all these cautions, so we keep adding trucks back to the lead lap. We're at 24 trucks on the lead lap right now. So as you start thinking ahead, and do some of these drivers up front right now who have not made that pit stop in the final stage, do they come at some point? And if they do, all of that track position they're going to get back to the field? Or does everybody come one more time? A lot to think about.
If they don't come, we've been able to witness what Corey Heim did on that restart. If you have pressure tires and everybody, and they have 30 laps in their tires, you can go from 20th. We saw Grant Enfinger go from 20th last year to battling Ben Rhodes for that championship. Just a couple laps. The tires make so much difference, especially on that restart.
That the replays we've shown of the action in 1 and 2 makes it not matter how many trucks are on the lead lap. You can eat up a bunch of them right down there, and right when they say go. I don't know. I kind of like where 9 and 19 are as we're choosing here for the restart. They're on fresher tires. If we can calm this field down a little bit, which is a big if, I know, these guys are in really good position.
I like this. 98 goes outside. No surprise for Majeski. He's done it all night long. But Hine, who was third, jumps out there right behind.
There you see Daniel Dye in that Napa truck. He's put himself in the top 5 here. And the Gray brothers side by side in the third row. A couple of fast trucks there as well.
Yeah, Tanner quietly getting it done this evening in the 15.
See Grant Enfinger back on the inside. It's going to be interesting to see Christian Eckes on the outside. Both of them, again, with fresher tires.
I think I would rather be Grant on the bottom, but
That's what I'm thinking.
What Heim did by just diving to the bottom early. Now you could go up high 2 in 1 and 2, but we saw Connor Mosack try that and he got out of shape and into the wall. So a little bit more risky, I think, for Eckes swinging in there on the outside of 5 wide.
And Enfinger actually had made up 4 ground on that last restart. Scoring Luke got him, so he went from like 8 to 12. Majeski, Sanchez.
All right, Majeski and Heim on the outside row for the restart. Shouldn't get a lane violation there. Green flag back in the air. Sanchez kind of leaning on the 98 truck a little bit as it get going through that restart zone. Heim kind of trapped in line behind him. 5 wide down into turn 1. Connor Mosack up the middle, powering through. Gets a bit sideways in the center of the corner. Loses a little bit of that track position again. Heim was able to get by Sanchez for second through turns 1 and 2, and now is right behind the race leader, Majeski. 26 laps to go this time around. They will get a green flag lap in after this restart. And the gap only about 2 truck lengths, if that, at the start-finish line that last time by as well. So back to 1 and 2 at the front of the field, and Christian Eckes on about 5 lap fresher tires. Green flag lap fresher tires at that. And a couple restarts worth is up to 4th place again. Grant Enfinger battles for 7th on the inside 3 wide of Tanner Gray and Connor Mosack. Going to get by Gray through 3 and 4. Mosack stays clear just in front of him in 7th. Going for 7th again is Enfinger down to the apron through the dog leg. Still 3 wide a little bit further back. Ben Rhodes, Caden Honeycutt. Brett Moffitt in the 4 truck. 1 second lead now for Majeski over Heim towards the front of the field. Good fire off short run speed again is huge for Ty Majeski. And I would say probably playing dividends into these late race restart situations as well. Does Christian Eckes have anything for him? Even with just a few lap fresher tires, I'm surprised he's made up as much ground as he has. I almost wonder what they've done for setup side of things there for the 19 truck as well. Because he's up to 3rd, which is tied for as high as he has been in the running order, which really hasn't been in 3rd place since stage 1. He's up there now after getting by Sanchez through 1 and 2 the last lap. 23 laps to go with where we're at currently. Another restart lane violation Looks like for, wait to see who that was. Daniel Dye in the 43 truck, I think, got the penalty. In 6th place, tough break for him. Doesn't come to pit road that time, but he will have to make a pass-through penalty at some point here. It's our 4th restart lane violation already tonight. And that'll be something to keep an eye on all weekend long through the Xfinity and Cup races Saturday, Sunday. To have that many, all of course restarting again on that bottom lane of the racetrack. We've only had 6 cautions in the race, so to have 4 penalties, all but 2 of the restarts so far, we've had a restart lane violation incidents. So the green flag lap, fresher tires would only be about 5 laps. Counting the caution laps, it'd be about 19 between Eckes and Heim. The fire-off speed, I think, was going to be the difference there. The longer this run goes, way more of those tires are going to end up evening out. And there is still a set left for Heim Majeski and some of the other drivers who have not hit pit road yet. There were 13 trucks on the restart 2 restarts ago when the other of the leaders initially pitted that had stayed out. A couple of them pitted during the last caution, obviously Lane Riggs being one of which after the spin. Riggs has now rallied back up to 12th. So his highest second, was battling for second on that restart when he had spun, bringing out the last caution that we were under. And Daniel Dye did serve his penalty already and had fallen off the lead lap, running right in between those top 2 for position. 2.1 second lead for Majeski. Does Heim have enough of a long run remaining from the eat into that lead? He's been better on the long run through stage 1. Stage 2, not so much. Time is probably running out, though. Eckes closer to Heim than Heim is to Majeski. A 2.2 second lead now. Eckes in 3rd. Top 10 on the leaderboard at this time in the race has Ty Majeski in the lead. Corey Heim in 2nd. Christian Eckes 3rd. Nick Sanchez 4th. Grant Enfinger 5th. Taylor Gray 6th. Caden Honeycutt 7th. Connor Mosack 8th. Tanner Gray 9th. And Ben Rhodes is in 10th. Riggs battling Purdy and Thompson for position. Gets by the 77 in one corner. Good little run on the 7. He had that little bit of left rear damage. I don't think that's going to cost him too much on the handling side of things. Still a somewhat lower speed racetrack, and there wasn't much damage back there. He does have fresher tires than some of the other trucks around him. Part of why he's probably gotten through the field as quickly as he did. Just over a 2.5 second lead. 2.8 that last time by at the line for Majeski. 15 laps to go. It's going to be tough. Second championship 4 appearance of Ty Majeski's Truck Series career. First time in 2 seasons that he's been in the championship 4, and a much better showing here at Phoenix today than what he had 2 years ago. He has definitely dominated on the lap sled side of things. From the pole, he has already led for 119 laps and counting. 4 different times he's led. 16 laps led for Corey Heim and 2 for Enfinger on pit stops. The only green flag lap leaders were Heim and Majeski this whole race. 6 cautions so far for incident. That red flag, by the way, 6 minutes and 9 seconds total time on it. Felt a little longer than that, but that's all it was. Drivers listed involved in the incident would include Stephen Parsons, Tyler Ankrum, Frankie Muniz, William Sawalich, Thad Moffitt, Stuart Friesen, Spencer Boyd, Andres Perez de Lara, and Connor Mosack, obviously, in the wall, which started it. So 8 trucks were involved in the incident in total. And as far as the drivers out of the race following the incident, that would include Muniz, Ankrum, Sawalich, and Perez. Were 4 of the 8 trucks that were listed involved in the crash that are out of the race. So 5 DNFs total to this point. Still 23 trucks on the lead lap. Free pass following the incident ended up going to the 25 of Dawson Sutton. 3.5 second lead and continuously growing for Majeski. He just really needs this thing to stay caution free at this point. I don't think he's going to cliff that badly that Majeski is going to give up that much time with this few of laps to go. Only a 1 mile racetrack at that. Majeski still 2/10 quicker than Heim the last time by. Caden Honeycutt up to 7th on the restart. It's 2 restarts ago. He had his restart violation, so quite a few spots gained for him already. I'd imagine he's got some of those fresher tires, but obviously at that point it would have evened out by now. About a second behind Taylor Gray for 6th. Lane Riggs battling Tanner Gray for 10th. And flip-flopping back and forth on the leaderboard. Roscoe Treat, thanks for tuning into the stream. I haven't shouted you out yet. Same for Tim Fowler. Appreciate you tuning in. Seven-second advantage back to the 4th place truck of Nick Sanchez. Grant Enfinger is in 5th, by the way. Quietly worked himself up through the leaderboard. Not as quickly as Eckes, who restarted right around him. Right back to where we started the day with the same 5 drivers who qualified towards the front of the field being up in the top 5, including all 4 of the Championship 4 drivers. And actually, if you look at the results at the end of Stage 1, they're in that exact order in the top 5 right now here in the late going of Stage 3. At this point in the race, I don't know that you take fresh tires if you're Heim or Majeski. Tires have evened out with that of Eckes and Enfinger at this point. And there's way too many trucks on the lead lap to pit and be able to gain that much track position on one lone restart with just a couple laps to go if we were to get a caution. So although they had that set of tires there, they're pretty much just going to have to go to waste tonight. 6 laps remaining. Still 3.8 second lead. Heim hasn't really cut into that to this point. Majeski continues to put the pedal to the metal. And at this point, he's just trying to get to the white flag as quickly as he possibly can. Just keep doing what you're doing at this point. Done a great job to get him to where he's at right now. Still a lot of battling going on outside the top 10. Raja Karut, Jake Garcia, Dean Thompson all under a blanket, 13th, 14th, and 15th on screen. Stephen Parsons just going a lap down that last time by. Race continues here at Phoenix. Heck, it's still a couple seconds off of second place. Corey Heim to try to get himself into a potential front row restarting position. And obviously a battle for what would be second in points as well. At the end of this championship race. Less than 3 miles remaining for Majeski. Still consistently 2 to 3 tenths of a second quicker lap. 28.452 that last lap. Got to a 28.6 that last time by, but still quicker than Heim by a couple hundredths of a second. Working his way up off of turn 2 right now, looking to put the 42 truck another lap down, that being Matt Mills. Pass him on the inside through 3 and 4. White flag is going to be in the air. 1 lap to go for Ty Majeski. What a dominating championship race for him here today from the pole. And he's going to go on to lead a very, very vast majority of this race. Largest lead of the night, by the way. On what is not even the longest green flag run of the race either. Heim did a great job of those restarts getting up to second, but had nothing for the race winner and race champion. Ty Majeski, a first-time Craftsman Truck Series champion, and the 6th for Thor Sport Racing in the Craftsman Truck Series. 3rd win of the year for Majeski as well, all in these flatter, shorter racetracks. 3.9 second margin of victory for the race and the championship. Congratulations to Ty Majeski. 22 trucks finished on the lead lap in 86.21 mile per hour average race speed, 1 hour 44 minutes 20 seconds total time in this one. We did finish under the regulation length of 150 laps and 150 miles. 3 different drivers led at least 1 lap in this race today. Although it didn't really feel like it, most of it was because of the restarts at the start-finish line itself, which led to the amount of lead changes that we ended up technically having today with the double file restarts. High maybe getting a bumper out in front of Majeski when they got to the start-finish line following the restart lane, or restart zone, I should say. 7 lead changes is what it got scored with. 132 laps led for Majeski, led all but 18 laps of this race. Kind of similar to the dominating run that Christian Eckes had in Martinsville by a race standard, when he ended up leading all but 12 laps last week out of 200. Mentioned already that we ended up having 6 cautions, 3 for incident, including a red flag that lasted 6 minutes and 9 seconds in this final stage. 8 truck crash at lap 98. Lane Riggs, Nick Sanchez bringing out the last yellow. Connor Jones had a spin as well in stage 3. The stage 2 caution would have been the 3rd yellow of the race. And had an incident that ended stage 1 with Frankie Muniz off the front bumper of William Sawalich. And in stage 2, early going to that stage, Jack Wood had backed it into the wall in turns 1 and 2 following a spin on a restart. 5 DNFs total, 22 trucks finished on the lead lap. And obviously, you'll get to hear from your championship and race winner, Ty Majeski, here in a matter of moments, still on his Polish victory lap on the front stretch with the championship flag. So we'll go through the finishing order of this race here quickly. Ty Majeski again with a 3.9 second margin of victory and championship victory here tonight. Corey Heim finishes in second for the points as well. Christian Eckes is 3rd in race, 3rd in points. Nick Sanchez is going to finish 5th in points this season, highest of the non-championship Ford drivers. Solid top 5 performance, finishing 4th tonight. Grant Enfinger finishes in 5th in the race, 4th in the title. Taylor Gray, I would imagine, probably going to end up 6th in points. He came in 6th, and he ran top 10 all night. Finishes there. Caden Honeycutt comes back to finish 7th following his restart lane violation. Connor Mosack 8th, Ben Rhodes 9th. Lane Riggs following a late spin on the last yellow. On this last restart, goes from the back of the lead lap up to 10th. Tanner Gray in 11th, Chase Purdy 12th, Raja Crute 13th, Jake Garcia 14th, and Dean Thompson 15th. 16th for Brett Moffitt, Connor Jones 17th, Stuart Friesen 18th, Matt Crafton 19th, and Dawson Sutton in 20th. 21st, Bailey Curry, Timmy Hill 22nd, Stephen Parsons 23rd, Daniel Dye 24th, Matt Mills 25th, Nathan Bird 26th, Dad Moffitt 27th, Spencer Boyd 28th, 29th for Keith McGee and Lawless Allen 30th. 31st, Andres Perez, William Sawalich 32nd, 33rd for Tyler Ankrum, Frankie Muniz 34th, and 35th, Jack Wood. Again, those 5 DNFs, Andres Perez, Sawalich, Ankrum, Muniz, and Wood. Majeski's still burning it down on the front stretch. Burning it all down. Probably getting an interview with some of the other top finishers, probably the other championship 4 drivers as well. Not exactly sure when this goes off of the air on FS1.
Well, Ty Majeski emerges from the truck, victorious, and salutes the fans here at Phoenix. You can see the emotion. You can see the passion that Ty has. that he always has every time he's behind the wheel in this Craftsman Truck Series. Ty, what an absolutely dominant performance tonight by you and this race team. You are a Craftsman Truck Series champion.
God, I can't believe it. Just huge thank you to Duke Ronda Thorson, Joe Shear Jr. He's one bad dude. This is so much fun racing with this group. So proud to have the opportunity to drive these great race trucks. Man, this there's a lot of times in my career where this looks like a far dream, and Duke and Ronda really gave me my third opportunity after I had two opportunities that failed, and man, I can't thank them enough. My wife Allie, been there every step of the way. Man, we have had a lot of ups and downs, and just so proud of these guys.
You mentioned those ups and downs and the hard work. You were one of the most blue-collar drivers in all of motorsports. What does it say to all the other short trackers around that are trying to chase their dreams and do what you just did tonight in the Craftsman Truck Series?
It's possible. You just need to find your way to find a way to set yourself apart from everybody else. And I did that by working in the shop. Started as an engineer at ThorSport in 2021 with 3 or 4 races. Didn't know what it was going to turn into. And damn it, now we're champions. Huge thank you to Road Ranger, Curb Records, Soda Sense. We have so many partners that go into this. Again, Duke, Ronda, Thorson, Allie. Man, this is special. We're going to celebrate this one.
What's that celebration going to look like tonight?
I don't know. Probably not like Ben Rhodes.
Ty Majeski, your 2024 Craftsman Truck Series champion.
The fans saluting him here in Phoenix. Such a great venue for championship weekend. Back to Todd.
And here with Corey Hine. Corey, I know you're disappointed. Second kind of stinks right now, but you got to look at the season as a whole and what you guys accomplished.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, really disappointing to come up short like that. It's hard to even be upset. I mean, I did almost everything right except for that restart violation, but we were able to get our track position back pretty quick and make the most of it. I just had nothing for the 98, all day. He was so fast, but I'm just proud of myself for not driving through the fastest truck like I drove through last year by Hostbar, and we're going to move forward with our heads up high and 6-win season, career highs for myself, my team, organization, everybody, just one spot short of the championship.
Corey Hine. Adam. Thank you, Todd. And I agree with him. I mean, the restart violation damaged his average running position, really didn't change the outcome of this race. We'll roll off the championship stage and continue the celebration in a moment. You know, this week, Ty Majeski said there aren't many tracks I would choose to go to over Phoenix. Tonight, we found out why. The 30-year-old from Seymour, Wisconsin, will host the biggest trophy in the Truck Series. He's a dominant winner tonight in the desert. It feels so good on top.
Type 2 diabetes? Discover the...
Let's look at some of the season statistics here for our champion of the night, Ty Majeski. This will be his 3rd win of the year, 10th top 5, 14 top 10s on the season, only 2 DNFs. With the laps led in this race for him, he is going to get to exactly 600 laps led on the season, and he does get 1 stage win to add on to his total of 6 now to 7 as well, because he did win stage 2 tonight also. So, nice, crisp, clean stat sheet there at the even 600 laps led, leading 132 in this season finale tonight that put him 3rd for laps led this season, getting the double-digit top 5s. And definitely a solid run here all night long. Was the guy to beat. Thought maybe Lane Riggs was going to have something for him on the long run side of things with that spin. Middle of stage 3 for Riggs, battling for 2nd at the time. Definitely took him out of it, and it was all Majeski from then on. Greatly appreciate everybody tuning into this one. Congratulations, obviously, from one Packer fan to another, Ty Majeski. And back-to-back championships for ThorSport Racing in the Craftsman Truck Series level. Again, they're 6th as an organization as a whole. We're not going to have all of the festivities here for the post-race of tonight's race. We will on Sunday for the Cup Series race through the championship. celebration for whoever ends up winning it then. As far as tonight goes, greatly appreciate everybody that tuned in, not only for this stream, but as well as our earlier NASCAR practice stream that took place later, or earlier, I should say, this evening. Thanks for all the support, as always, for these Truck Series streams. This might be the final truck race of the season, final Truck Series stream of the season. We will still have 3 more streams. Again, Cup Series qualifying will be our next one tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern will be live for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship race, also at Phoenix tomorrow night. And, of course, the main event on Sunday afternoon will go live 2:30 p.m. Eastern with our pre-race of the NASCAR Cup Series event. Be sure to hit the like button on the way out if you haven't yet. Our goal is to get to 100 likes, and we are currently at 95. So hopefully we get there by the end of it. Looks like they're going to be going off the air here pretty soon. Got a college football game on FS1. Probably bottom of the hour at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, but we're going to end this one for ourselves right now. Again, thank you to all. Have a good rest of your Friday night. See you back better than ever again tomorrow afternoon.